The Ravens have had an undeniably roller coaster season, and when it comes to John Harbaugh, the questions surrounding his future have been swirling more than ever. You can't help but wonder if there's ever a point where he might step away. Maybe even for something outside of coaching, but the truth is, it's hard to imagine that happening. Harbaugh has a deep connection with Baltimore, and it's clear that he loves his job and the stability it brings. He has built something remarkable here over nearly 2 decades, something that not every coach gets to experience. Sure, there are examples across sports where coaches have moved into front office roles after a head coaching stint. Whether it was Brad Stevens in Boston or Bruce Arians in Tampa Bay, the pattern exists. But for Harbaugh, it seems unlikely. He's invested in this city, this organization, and the team he's helped shape into a consistent contender. Even so, expectations have shifted dramatically over the past few seasons. The Ravens have faced setbacks that have tested their resilience and exposed some of the cracks in the system. Wins like the one against Green Bay brought hope in a sense that perhaps the team is returning to the brand of Ravens football fans have long admired. Yet, a single victory cannot erase the frustrations that have built up over a season that started 1-5, forcing the team to claw its way back into playoff contention. The Browns' last-minute efforts were crucial, and while that win extended the season, it did not erase the underlying concerns about consistency and performance in critical moments. The pressure is not only on the players, but also on the coaching staff, and Harbaugh's track record in the playoffs has become a focal point. Fans and analysts alike are dissecting the results, weighing whether the team's trajectory under him has peaked or if the window for success is narrowing. 3 playoff wins in the Lamar Jackson era. Despite remarkable regular season achievements, highlight a disconnect between talent and postseason results. The offense has shown brilliance at times, yet there have been failures in execution, game planning, and situational adjustments. The offensive line has struggled. Key injuries have exposed depth issues, and defensive units have occasionally failed to generate the pressure needed to dominate. If the Ravens were to stumble in Week 18 or fall short in the wild card or divisional rounds, questions about Harbaugh's tenure would intensify. The conversation around mutual parting of ways, whether on his terms or the organization's, becomes unavoidable. There's precedent in the NFL for these situations, from coordinators moving on to coaches shifting roles within the same franchise. The nuances of how those departures occur can vary widely, but the scrutiny in Baltimore is magnified by the combination of high expectations, a superstar quarterback, and a fanbase accustomed to contending for championships. The discussions surrounding Harbaugh are intertwined with the team's overall vision and the demands of owner Steve Bisciotti, who has consistently emphasized the importance of winning now. Lamar Jackson's role in this narrative cannot be overstated. He has carried the team on his back through multiple seasons, consistently performing under pressure despite challenges surrounding him, injuries, limited support from the offensive line, and fluctuations in the talent around him have all been hurdles he has faced, and yet, the criticism often lands squarely on his shoulders. Marcus Spears recently spoke out passionately about this, highlighting the unfairness in how Lamar is evaluated. He reminded fans that Jackson has led the Ravens to playoff appearances, has been an MVP, and has consistently stepped up when others could not. Yet a single tough season or mistakes by teammates is magnified disproportionately when it comes to Lamar. Drops by receivers, missed blocks, or game planning decisions often get overlooked, while Lamar's contributions are scrutinized intensely. The frustration expressed by Spears captures what many feel, that Jackson has done everything possible for this team, and the blame he receives is often misplaced. This dynamic complicates the conversation around Harbaugh. His successes are tied to Jackson's talents, but his failures are magnified in seasons when results do not match expectations. The Ravens' ownership and fans are not just evaluating one season, they are considering patterns, postseason performance, and the team's ability to capitalize on the unique talent of a quarterback like Jackson. The stakes are high, and every decision carries weight. Harbaugh has proven he is a capable coach with a Super Bowl on his resume. But the argument persists that if this era with Lamar Jackson does not yield the ultimate prize, his legacy will be defined less by past achievements and more by what cannot be accomplished in this window of opportunity. Looking at the broader landscape, there are comparisons to other franchises, and the lens through which the Ravens are viewed is relentless. Pittsburgh's situation with Mike Tomlin is often referenced. noting how long-term coaching tenures can be evaluated differently depending on context, results, and organizational philosophy. Harbaugh's path, however, is unique. Nearly 20 years in Baltimore, a Super Bowl victory, consistent playoff appearances, and a team built around a transformative quarterback. All these factors create a narrative that cannot be simplified, yet the scrutiny remains. And the question of whether he should remain the leader of this team is never far from the conversation, especially in light of playoff disappointments or unmet expectations. The pressure on Harbaugh is compounded by the evolving identity of the team. Personnel changes, coaching adjustments, and strategic decisions have all shaped the trajectory of the Ravens in recent years. Offensive coordinators have come and gone, defensive schemes have fluctuated, and the management of talent has faced its challenges. While Harbaugh is not solely responsible for every misstep, as the head coach, he bears the brunt of accountability. Every mismanaged play, every controversial decision, and every failed adaptation in a critical moment reflects back on him. The discussion is not just about one game or one season. It is about patterns that have emerged over multiple years and how they align with the expectations for a team of Baltimore's caliber. Fans, media, and analysts are deeply invested in how this season concludes. A victory over Pittsburgh in Week 18 could restore faith and momentum, providing a springboard for a playoff run. Conversely, a loss or an early exit could reignite debates about Harbaugh's effectiveness and the future of his tenure. The interplay between Jackson's performance, coaching decisions, and team management creates a complex environment where every choice is scrutinized, and every result carries significant weight. Harbaugh's legacy is inextricably linked to these outcomes, and the narrative surrounding him will continue to evolve as the season unfolds. Amid all this, it's essential to recognize the remarkable resilience and talent within the Ravens organization. Despite injuries, setbacks, and the challenges of competing in one of the toughest divisions in the NFL, the team has demonstrated an ability to persevere. Players like Lamar Jackson, along with emerging talents across the roster, have showcased the potential to overcome adversity and compete at a high level. The coaching staff has had to adapt constantly, making adjustments week to week to maximize performance. Yet, the central question remains, is this enough to secure a championship? And is Harbaugh the coach to take them there? The season's final games will not just determine playoff positioning, they will shape the conversation about leadership, strategy, and the ultimate measure of success in Baltimore. As the conversation around Lamar Jackson continues, it becomes impossible to ignore the passion and frustration from voices like Marcus Spears. Spears' commentary cuts through a lot of the noise, shining a light on what many Ravens fans feel but haven't fully articulated. He doesn't mince words when discussing the criticism Jackson faces, emphasizing that the quarterback has been asked to carry this team through injuries, inconsistent offensive line play, and personnel gaps on both sides of the ball. Over the past several seasons, Jackson has been the engine that drives this team, yet whenever there's a dip in performance or a single misstep, the finger of blame often lands squarely on him. Spears' point is clear: Lamar Jackson's contributions cannot be understated, and the scrutiny he faces is far harsher than what is applied to other quarterbacks. Even when they encounter similar challenges, it's a narrative that's repeated itself throughout the season. Fans and commentators alike scrutinize each pass, each decision, as if one misplay could define a season or undo years of consistent excellence. When Mark Andrews drops a catch or a teammate fails to execute a play, the focus inexplicably shifts back to Lamar. Spears argues that this double standard is unfair and detracts from a more balanced evaluation of the team's performance. He points out that Jackson has been resilient through injuries and relentless pressure, demonstrating leadership that transcends simple statistics. Even on nights when the offense struggles, his ability to keep the team competitive is remarkable, and yet, the criticism persists. This tension between performance and perception fuels debates about both the quarterback and the coaching staff, creating a charged environment where every game is more than just a contest. It becomes a referendum on leadership, strategy, and accountability. For John Harbaugh, this dynamic presents a unique challenge. His coaching legacy is intertwined with Jackson's career, yet the two are not always aligned perfectly in outcomes. Harbaugh has demonstrated the capacity to adapt, but questions linger about his ability to fully maximize the talent around him in critical moments. The offensive line struggles, occasional mismanagement of play calling, and failures to adjust during high-pressure situations have all been areas of concern, while the team has achieved regular season success. The postseason has exposed vulnerabilities that cannot be ignored. 3 playoff wins in nearly a decade, with Jackson highlighted a disconnect between the promise of this roster and its ability to capitalize when it matters most. The conversation about Harbaugh's future is therefore inseparable from Jackson's performance and the team's postseason trajectory as the Ravens prepare for the final stretch. Every decision is magnified. Week 18 looms large, as does the possibility of a wild card or divisional round exit. A victory over a key rival could reignite hope and shift narratives in Baltimore, restoring confidence in the coaching staff and the quarterback. Conversely, a disappointing loss could amplify the calls for change and intensify scrutiny on Harbaugh, his staff, and the organization's long-term strategy. Ownership, led by Steve Bisciotti, has consistently emphasized a desire to win now, and that urgency permeates every discussion about team leadership. Fans, analysts, and insiders are all weighing the implications of potential outcomes, evaluating whether the current leadership can achieve the ultimate goal or if a new direction is necessary. The stakes are further complicated by the evolving identity of the team. Jackson's role is unique in the NFL, a quarterback capable of changing the dynamic of every game, yet reliant on a supporting cast that has sometimes fallen short. Offensive coordinators have come and gone, defensive schemes have shifted, and injuries have forced adjustments across the roster. Harbaugh's challenge is to orchestrate these moving pieces into a cohesive strategy, capable of contending at the highest level. The window for success with Jackson is finite, and every season that passes without a championship narrows the margin for error. This pressure is not theoretical. It shapes the culture, the expectations, and the decisions that define the Ravens organization. Beyond strategy, the human element cannot be ignored. Jackson has been asked to shoulder enormous responsibility, often stepping into roles that extend beyond his position. Leadership, resilience, and adaptability are demanded of him in ways that few quarterbacks experience. And Spears emphasizes that Jackson has consistently risen to meet these challenges. Yet the narratives of failure or underperformance sometimes overshadow these achievements, creating a tension that permeates locker rooms, media coverage, and fan discourse alike. The interplay between leadership, accountability, and performance is delicate, and in Baltimore, it is scrutinized more intensely than in most cities. The discussion around Harbaugh and Jackson also touches on broader themes in professional football: legacy, timing, and the alignment of talent and opportunity. Coaches and players often define each other's careers, and in the case of the Ravens, the synergy between Harbaugh's experience and Jackson's athleticism creates both opportunity and pressure. Spears' commentary underscores the importance of recognizing individual contributions within this system, reminding fans that football is a collective effort and that assigning disproportionate blame can obscure the realities of team dynamics. Every missed opportunity, every strategic misstep, and every moment of brilliance is part of a larger story, a story that defines legacies and shapes the expectations for years to come. Before we dive in, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Your support keeps us bringing you the latest news on the Baltimore Ravens. And hey, drop your take in the comments below. We want to hear from the flock. Whispers are swirling around Baltimore's locker room as the Ravens reportedly shake up their backfield in a move that has sent shockwaves through the league. According to insiders, the team has sidelined a starting running back due to disciplinary issues, leaving a glaring void in their ground game. While the details remain closely guarded, sources suggest that Baltimore's front office is not taking any chances and is looking to make a statement with a bold acquisition. Enter Alvin Kamara, the former superstar of New Orleans, known for his unmatched versatility and ability to turn nothing into something on the field, is reportedly being courted to take control of the Ravens' backfield. If the rumors hold true, Kamara could redefine Baltimore's offensive identity, offering a dynamic mix of rushing, receiving, and explosive playmaking that the team has rarely seen all in one player. For a franchise that prides itself on a physical, disciplined approach, Kamara's arrival would signal a willingness to adapt and embrace a more creative, unpredictable style. League insiders hint that this potential move is about more than just filling a vacancy. Sources suggest that the Ravens are envisioning a backfield dominated by Kamara's skill set, with him as the focal point in every formation. The speculation has sparked intense debate among analysts and fans alike. Could Baltimore finally unlock a multi-dimensional offense, capable of challenging even the league's top defenses? Or would integrating a player of Kamara's caliber require adjustments that could take the team out of its comfort zone? Rumors indicate that team executives and coaching staff have been in intense discussions, exploring how Kamara could mesh with Baltimore's system, while also sending a message to the rest of the roster about accountability. While nothing is confirmed, the very notion of Kamara dominating the Ravens' backfield has ignited a frenzy on social media, with fans imagining jaw-dropping highlights and highlight reel plays that could redefine the team's identity if these whispers prove accurate. Baltimore could be on the verge of a seismic shift. A backfield led by Kamara, free from the distractions that sideline their starter, would be a storyline impossible to ignore. For now, the league watches, pundits speculate, and fans dream of the electrifying possibilities that this rumored acquisition might bring. One thing is certain, the Ravens' ground game could be about to enter an entirely new era. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay in the loop with exclusive news on our Baltimore Ravens, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. We'd love to hear what the flock thinks. Drop your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next one.